Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. I am Kayode Okikiolu here at Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. We continue to anticipate the formation of a cabinet that will work in President Muhammadu Buhari's second term. It is now 32 days since President Buhari and his vice, that's Professor Yemi Osinbajo, were sworn in for a second term in office. We at Channels Television are counting the days till the president forms his cabinet. And who knows, it might just come this week, or maybe not. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Tonight on the program, we'll be walking you through some of the major highlights of President Buhari's second term. I imagine that Nigerians have a to-do list for the president on issues that are vital to them. So we place those expectations side by side with the reality. As always, we focus on the facts and not rhetoric tonight. Let's meet our guest. He's a former national vice chairman, or rather former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Bode George. He joins us live in our Lagos studio. Thank you for your time, sir.
My pleasure.
Okay, so I'd like to begin with this. President Buhari is in for another term. It has been termed the next level. There's been so many reactions. But I'd like to get your rating so far. How do you rate the president's second term so far?
You know, I am not in the APC. An irredentist PDP stalwart. But talking about second term of his administration, we pray for this country. We pray that all goes well with our nation. Because whoever is in charge will be there for another 4 years. And if it goes well, we all benefit from it. And if it goes the other way too, we all will not benefit. So my point, a lot of arguments have been in the public domain where people are saying, oh, it's taking a long time. He should have, gotten all the people who work with him, the ministers, the agencies and all that. You know, there is one major problem, which we all as Nigerians, irrespective of the political leanings, we must face and resolve. When millions of Nigerians go out to vote, they expect that they have given their will to the people.
Right.
And if at the end of the day, rather than announcing the results, because it is transparent, even a blind man will know that this is clean and clear, we all end up in the courts. Maybe why there is delay, because Nigerians are very anxious people, is the fact that there is still the case of the presidential election is still hanging at the Court of Appeal. After the Court of Appeal, we hope they will still go to the Supreme Court. These delays are not in the interest of Nigerians. And that is why we must focus, for me, on the agency that handles the procedure and the electoral process. Recently the Indians had their own general election.
It lasted for weeks.
It lasted for 2 weeks. Have you heard anything, a fallout of any court, tribunal or no tribunal? It is because the system is transparent. It is because the system, by the time it comes through all the process, you have an answer.
So for you, you've not even started rating the second term yet?
Because we are still in court.
Okay.
We are still looking at it. Let the adjudication be clear.
All right.
And another point is that for me, I was in the military. I saw the military in governance. And I have also seen the civil rule. And as long as these things are not properly handled, that's the process, we will keep 2 steps forward, 10 steps back.
All right.
And that when people are itching, and the man is a military officer too, retired, he maybe is looking at, look, let's put all this tribunal, all the court, something. Because imagine, we are hoping that we will win, until then, talking about another 4 years of governance. We haven't finished.
Okay, so let's, as much as I understand you in court,
Yes.
we still have to talk about some of these issues.
Okay.
I mean, you said that whatever happens, it would affect us all
Absolutely,
as Nigerians.
yes.
So let's take a look at the first step that President Buhari took in the second term. Now, right after the inauguration, the president, on the 30th of May, just a few hours after the inauguration, the president attended the OIC, that's the Organization of Islamic Cooperation Summit, to seek support on bilateral cooperation and security. Now, what do you think of that as a first move?
You know, for me, whatever we will do as a nation that will improve the economic life of Nigerians, abide. He has said it's for bilateral talks. Maybe investors will come. If they look at Nigeria as a nation that is stable and is quiet, that even our electoral process, they are all watching us. So I have no qualms about his attending it. We are not a full-fledged member. We are just, I don't know what they call it, but we are not a full-fledged member. But whatever will bring economic development to Nigeria, I have no qualms about that.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about the appointments, which have formed a major talking point. I mean, there's been a lot of back and forth. And I'd like to tell you something that your party said in response to this. Now, this is a quote from the PDP's National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Kola Ologbondiyo. He says, and I quote, "The vicious fight for positions as," quote, and you shake your head. Why do you shake your head? I've not even finished the quote.
You know why I'm shaking my head? It is absolutely despicable, absolutely disheartening to watch on the screen people in the same party protesting against certain positions. You know, our party, we have a way of handling this, and it shows you that this APC party is yet to find its feet in this country. Look, there is only one skipper on board a ship. There is only one captain on board a ship. When you hear the cacophony of voices telling you I am leader of the party, when the president, as a member of the party, is there, he's automatically the leader of the party. So when you have some junkies talking around leader of the party, I say this is not a real political party.
Okay.
So for me, fighting about positions, where is the caucus of the party? Where are the leaders of the party? The caucus of the party is the heart of the party. You know, and no individual is bigger than the party. People are talking, naturally the president will have his friends. Fine. Once the elections are over, the party, they all came on the platform of that party. It is the platform of the party that will sit with the president. They will get nominations from the states. They vet them and present it at the caucus for discussion, and there will be wider consultation.
Okay,
I am amazed that, you know, how many days after elections now, they are all running around setting people to be protesting. It sends a wrong image onto the international market.
Okay, Chief Olabode George, for the benefit of our viewers, I'd just like to read what Mr. Kola Ologbondiyo said. He says, the vicious fight for positions as booty of a stolen mandate, according to him, further exposes the APC and the cabal in the Buhari presidency as power mongers who are only interested in power grabbing, treasury looting, he goes on to allege, and plundering of our national patrimony and not in the welfare of Nigerians. But then the APC responded through the National Publicity Secretary of the party, as you would expect, Mr. Lanre Issa Onilu. And this is what he says. He says, perhaps to the delusional PDP, that's your party, it is a sign of division within our rank to successfully mobilize our members behind our candidates for the National Assembly election. Here you have a party wallowing in denial. He goes on to say, has continued in PDP's latest statement, odious practices like looting, booty sharing, and power grabbing are not the practices that the APC wishes to continue from the wasted PDP years.
These are rhetorics. These are just, to me, very weightless response. Facts. Have they been able to appoint the ministers? Is it true that protesters went to the Defense House in Abuja for one group and another set of protesters from another group?
Isn't this a part of the democratic process?
No. Look, if it is, when it comes to position, the distribution of position to people, it shouldn't get to that level. It means there is no proper administrative management of the party. That's what it shows. Why do you wash your dirty linens in the public? Why should there be a division? There is a skipper, that's the president. There is the party who should manage all that to make sure that it is seamless. You know, when you see them in this kind of a setting, it shows that, are these guys serious? What does the next 4 years portend?
Right.
That's what you'll be thinking about. Look, we said the Indians, 800 million people voted for the election. It took them 2 weeks. One, I had not had one single cacophony of voices angling that we are going to the courts. In our case, it is the judiciary who elects the president, who elects the governors, who elects the Senate president, or the senators, the House of Reps. Why? What is the essence of those millions of Nigerians who went out there to vote?
How do you mean it's the judiciary that elects?
Because look at it now. INEC declared results. We are saying, hey, how did you declare the results? What were the facts behind your analysis and your collation? We are still in the court trying to find out whether we were right or the APC was right. Now, a decision is yet to be taken. You are saying, and then they are all juggling around. With,
I mean, for the APC, life goes on already. I mean,
if the life goes on, there must be a procedure. You know, the politics has defined the management of the resources of the land for the benefit of the people.
Okay.
All right? If that is the case, why are people who brought those protesters there to go and protest against the secretary to government, current one, and another set going to protest against the chief of staff to the president? I mean, what is going on?
Okay.
That's the apex of the power.
I understand that there was a response from the president saying they were probably sponsored. But let's move on to another major issue. Now, you have been a staunch supporter of restructuring. In fact, you've made statements saying that, you know what, we need to look into this federalism structure and make the center less attractive. Do you see this happening in the next few years of President Buhari's second term?
Whether it happens now or not, we will not stop asking for it. Look, let's look at our nation. You know, like I said to you, I've had the experience in the military, in governance. I've also had experience as the civil power. Now, what do you see? You find that in the military, orders come from the top and percolate to the bottom. And once you are at any other level but the top, you key in. All right? But in a civil authority, the power comes from the bottom up.
That's the people.
That's the people themselves. Because the will of the people must be respected. You go to them, you converse to them to trust you, you will, do A, B, C, D to assuage the pain in their own community. And so they say, we trust this man. You go and represent us. So power comes from the people. Now, what do we find? Now, all activities are managed from the center in Abuja. I asked recently, I said, what is the business of the president with my local government? The things that are painful to us should be managed by those in that community. I'm trying to build up the issue of this restructuring. And when people hear the word restructuring, people quickly jump and believe that, oh, you want to dismember Nigeria. No.
So what's your idea of restructuring?
No. What did we start with in 1960, the First Republic? That was the way it was handled. You know, we had the Prime Minister. We had the premiers of these regions. Those in various regions watched very carefully the performance of their premier.
But some are saying that things are different now.
No.
I mean, the world, for example, is a global village. Then it wasn't. Things
now,
are...
are you now saying that the order, we took the American Constitution? That's what we are running now, the presidential system. But America is not run like what we are doing now. Washington, yes, is there. The governor of California has the responsibility of ensuring that he manages resources of that land for the benefit of the people there. But massive state. You have another small state like Maine. With they manage their own resources, much smaller. And so that is what you are saying, that why should we start sending all resources to Abuja? They put it in a basket, chunk it around, and then redistribute it. That was the military order. Let us go back to where, and if we don't stop it, if we continue the way we are doing, you will realize, I just look at you, younger generation, how would you enjoy the benefits of your country? Because Nigeria is massive. There is no way you can sit on the spot. Take VAT, for example. 80 to 85% is generated in Lagos State.
Okay.
When it goes into the major basket in Abuja, because all goes there first, then it's redistributed, we get only 11% back.
But another thing that came up is the NFIU. I'm sure you've been following the NFIU guidelines saying that, you know, there needs to be a separation when it comes to funds from the local government and the state government. But then people have said there's a possibility of abuse. I mean, how do we balance these things?
Listen, we copied a constitution. You should ask them. The people we copied from. You have the counties that like the local government, you have the state. They have the county police to manage security within the county, within the local government. They have the state police to manage the affairs of that state. And you have the federal police, the FBI, you know, and it's still manageable. You know, in some of the states, they didn't have enough funds to have two chambers. Two legislative chambers. They can have only one, and they're okay.
Now, if I may come in right now,
right.
I've noticed a trend. Now, you don't seem as critical of the president as some people would expect, especially people in your party that are critical. Now, I'm getting somewhere. For example, you supported the president during the time he went abroad for treatment. You also commended the president for the June 12 declaration. Coincidentally, I mean, reports have it that the president even won at your polling units. What's the relationship between you and the president? Are you friends?
He was my boss. Remember, you know, everybody sees me and forgot that I was in the military. You know, we have this camaraderie and the ethics of the service. I don't have to agree with him. He was my boss, so I must always respect. That is there perpetually.
So how do you balance that with your opposition?
I have my views. I just told you all my views about their party. You know, if I have anything personal about him, I will quietly link up. Because you cannot afford to be rude to those who are superior. You know, the military is an institution that is unique. You once somebody was your senior, you don't go there to undermine him, but you can talk to him to say, sir, and we still had that. Sir, I believe that this thing that is going on, we can still manage it in a manner, we can do it in a manner. You talk. You don't have to be rude.
So you still have that military mentality, as it were?
I spent a very, very large part of my life in that military.
So it's really hard.
I would expect the younger generation, no matter what political leanings you have, your boss is your boss. But doesn't mean you can always agree. No, we disagree. Political aid is in another quarters. I just told you that that party is not it's not a real political party.
Right.
It's a bunch of it's a coalition of strange bedfellows. That's what I call it.
It's interesting how you put that. Chief Olabode George would like to appreciate you for your time on the program. We'll be speaking to the former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Olabode George. Well, when we return on the program, we'll take a look at the president's performance when it comes to security, the economy, and the fight against corruption. Join us again.